guys. How's everyone today? Welcome back to the channel. Good morning, Pete. I see that you're here nice and early. That's a great sign. Ready to go. Welcome back to the markets, guys. This is really the real first day of the year. We did have Friday, but that was a really short day, and I think everybody should be fully back today from their hangovers from New Year's. I myself did not have a hangover from New Year's, but that's just the way it goes sometimes, and I am thankful for that. So the markets is showing risk on today. We do have the all the tech and the crypto is trying to rally. Energy is also hot. So we will take a look at all of that stuff. Again, some of the high beta names and energy, they did some crazy numbers on Friday, right? 10, 9, 8, 14%, stuff like that. So we'll be taking a look at the crypto names along with tech, and the semis are really hot. Semis are extremely hot. We'll take a look at the SMH, that is the Semiconductor ETF. And we will go from there. The big news, obviously, is that the U.S. has taken Maduro over the border, and they are going to prosecute him. So that's huge. I know everyone's talking oil, oil, oil. You know what? Oil prices have actually gone down. The actual oil companies have got a boost. I know XOM did like 6%, Chevron did like 8%. So those would be the plays you'd want to be betting on for oil, not actually the oil. So just making sure people didn't get their ideas twisted there. So yeah, we might take a look at some of the oil company stocks, but I don't normally play them. They really move like snails, and when you're trading momentum, those oil stocks just don't really make those moves. For oil to make a 6 and 7% move, those companies is a lot for those. So keep an eye on tech, crypto, semis, and energy. We will jump over now to the economic calendar and see what's in store for the economic calendar. So, I already know it's not a super busy day. As you can see, 10 o'clock we have ISM Manufacturing PMI. But let's just look at the rest of the week. So tomorrow, very, very quiet for Tuesday. But Wednesday is a day that many people have been waiting for, specifically the JOLTS job openings. I know that my buddy Matt at the Trade Brigade has been talking about Wednesday the 7th for a long time, and these JOLTS job openings numbers, as well as ADP non-farm and ISM services PMI, which is more important than the ISM manufacturing PMI. You want it, the services are where you will see the more important numbers, we'll say. Okay, so that's the 7th. Keep your eye open for that. January the 8th, we have unemployment claims. And then on Friday the 9th, we have the unemployment rate, non-farm employment change, and average hourly earnings. As well as 10 o'clock, we have prelim UOM consumer sentiment and prelim UOM inflation expectation. Okay, so that is it for the economic calendar. Again, 10 o'clock today, ISM manufacturing PMI. That's really all you have to worry about until Wednesday, where you have the JOLTS jobs openings. Let's jump over to the FedWatch tool. So the chance of an interest rate cut is 18% on the 28th of January, which is not very good. A good indicator of the rate percentage cut chance going up is the job openings. So keep an eye on that. But right now we're at 18% for the chance of an interest rate, a 0.25 interest rate cut on the 28th of January. Let's look at some earnings. we're not really in earnings season, obviously, so earnings are very, very quiet. I just wanted to point that out. Yeah, if there's any on here, Applied Blockchain, APLD, will be one of the ones that I'm going to be watching. I like trading APLD. It moves a lot, so it's a great momentum trader. Yeah, that's Tilray as well on Thursday after the close. I know the marijuana they've been doing a lot of marijuana regulation, rescheduling, all that stuff. So that's been very interesting. We did have some trades on the marijuana stocks, and those were decent. But it was a sell the news event, so that's what happened there. Um, yeah. So, anyways, moving on to the CNBC news feed. We will take a look at the news feed, and this is not the only news feed we look at. We also like to look at the Interactive Brokers news feed just to get a better view on some of the smaller names. And what the Interactive Brokers does is they gather all the news from like Benzinga and Seeking Alpha, and they put it all in one spot with the bigger headlines. So that's a great spot. You might want to check your broker out for news, because sometimes your broker has really good news that you don't have to pay $200 or $300 for. Okay, let's just take a look down here. Stock futures are higher after U.S. attacks Venezuela. And you can have your opinions about this stuff. I'm not going to comment on it. Everyone has their own opinions. There's a lot of this has stirred up a lot of conversation and a lot of people arguing about stuff. So we're not going to really get into it, other than to say that the oil companies have gotten a boost off of this news. Okay, so shares of Chevron jump 8% after Trump's military intervention in Venezuela. That's kind of interesting if you want to read that. Yeah, cool. NVIDIA's partner Foxconn reports 22% revenue surge as AI build-out ramps up. That's kind of proof that the AI, all the AI hype is really worth the hype, because we wanted to see earnings show that AI was helping their earnings, and this is a direct 22% revenue surge. So we will keep an eye on the AI build-out as moving forward. China decries U.S. action in Venezuela as it guards billions at stake. Cuba says 32 citizens killed in U.S. raid to arrest Venezuela's Maduro. Okay, that's different than the U.S. was saying. They were saying only a couple people, so 32. Okay, everyone's going to have their way to spin this story, but we're not going to get into it. Who controls Venezuela oil? What Maduro's arrest means for energy markets? That could be a really interesting read. Like I said, energy has gotten a boost this morning. Rubio explains how U.S. might run Venezuela after Maduro's ouster. Okay. Elon Musk Starlink offers free internet in Venezuela after U.S. airstrikes and Maduro's arrest. Interesting. Global defense stocks soar as U.S. strike on Venezuela heralds new hard power era. Interesting. A lot of people are saying that Palantir's software had a lot to do with this strike. They're not actually going to tell you, but I know Amit Kukrija was talking about how Palantir played a big role in how the U.S. has shaped their military over the last couple of years. Bank of America expects a boost in dividends in 2026. Okay. Anthropic's do more with less bet has kept it at the AI frontier. Co-founder Amity tells CNBC. Yeah, so that's just kind of saying how AI is going to aid less people working, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. That's the age-old argument now about, is AI going to take all the jobs, or is it just going to be another hand in helping humans work? Okay. Trump says U.S. oil companies will invest billions of dollars in Venezuela after Maduro's overthrow. Interesting. Okay. So here were the big movers. SanDisk did 15%. MU did 10.5%. WDC did 8.9%. These are all the upside moves. AppLovin did negative 8.2, and Palantir did negative 5. Carvana did negative 5. So, yeah, it just goes to show that the semis are hot. SanDisk is hot again. So risk on seems to be the name of the game right now, and you can see that when you look at if you do an ETF scan every morning. So we'll jump over into the charts right now, but I just want to show you guys something that I look at every morning is my ETF scanner. This over here is all the ETFs that I watch. Okay, and these top ones are tech and risk on, as well as Bitcoin. And look at how green we are today with this ETF scanner for risk on. It's really, really green. So this is the semis, ARKK, ARKG, and XLK, XLY, and crypto. So it's nice to have these ETFs lined up, and the defensive stocks down here, the defensive ETF, the XLF, XLV, and XLU are your defensive plays. Okay, and they're all negative in the pre-market today. So that is a good indicator for what's going to be hot today. All right, instead of just trying to guess like, oh, I wonder if Nvidia is going to be hot today or this and that, you can look at these ETFs and see what sectors are hot. And so that's a good indicator of what's going to move today. So that's that. Anyways, we are looking at the NASDAQ futures right now. Okay. And I give you guys a zoomed out view because this is just the broad market. All right. And what you want to see is you want to see a reclaim of 25,633 and these previous highs today to confirm upside. Okay. And this is the top of this bearish engulfer from the 10th of October. And it is right here. And we must reclaim this to remain bullish today. Okay. That'll be a great sign if we can get back above 25,633 on the NASDAQ futures and hold above it. So what you would want to see is something like this and up into previous day highs and then reassess up here, right? We must reclaim 25,633 today to 25,600. Okay, so please mark this on your charts. It's in a very important level. We also have the 20 and the 50 daily SMA there as well. Super important to reclaim this. Okay, and move up from there. And then we want to get over previous day's highs and all these rejection support, all this whole area here, and the 25,800 to 25,760. Okay, so that's your most critical level right out the gates today. 25,600 to 25,633. These previous highs. Keep an eye on that. If we reclaim it, you're good to go to the long side. Let's jump over to the QQQ. Okay, the Qs, and everyone says, oh, why do you chart the Qs and the NASDAQ futures? Because they're different. So you can see that we have held these previous highs. This is 25,600 on the NASDAQ futures down here. Those previous highs were down here. But right now, we have held that, and we're trying to reclaim 618. You want to see 618 reclaimed on the QQQ. It's very important. It is the high from 15 December right here. These lows right here. Okay. This action here, you can see here, here, right? You can just keep going here. It's a huge level. Okay, so you want to see us get back above this and hold it and continue up. The next level I would be watching is 621.65 on the QQQ. It is the high from Monday the 22nd and the low from Wednesday the 24th. They perfectly line up. This is a flip. Okay, this is this here, and as we broke it, we came down and held it. Okay, so this is a key area. You want to at least see us reclaim this. I have marked this complete area because it is important, because if we break that level and then we start to reject previous day high and roll over. So ultimately, your first reclaim is 618.41. Your next reclaim is 621.65 and previous day high. You want to see us get above it. Okay? So that's your level, 618.41. To the downside, you want to see 613.20 right here, hold, if we come down. Okay? So that's those are your three important levels. Previous day high and 621.65, 618.41, and 613.20. Here, here, and here. Those are your important levels on the QQQ today. Let's look at the ES. So the ES has reclaimed value area high from previous day. That's a check in the positive. And we reclaim the 20 SMA and these previous lows. So right here, these lows, okay, this high turned into a break and test and go. Okay, so this is your important area here. Now, we are holding that in the pre-market. Okay, so you want to see us come back down and hold the 20 SMAs here and value area high and turn, okay? And then ultimately, we must reclaim 69.36. It is these highs, these lows, and these highs here. We have to reclaim that for continuation today. Okay? So those are your important levels on the ES. First level I'd be watching is the 20 SMA at 69.15 to value area high 69.05 right here. Okay, that's your first level. If we break below that, you want to see 68.66 right here, hold when we come down. Okay, and then rally. If we move to the upside straight off, you want to see this must reclaim area at previous day high and 69.36 hold. So those are your possible paths today on the ES, which you want to be watching for. 68.66 to the downside, 69.10 value area high, and 69.36 to the upside with previous day high. That's your ES action today. On the SPY, okay, same levels, just different numbers. We have these previous lows, okay, with this area here, with these lows in here, which we rejected on Friday. So what do you want to see? You want to see us reclaim this level, previous day high, and 686.22 to continue. Your other path to the downside, your first stop is 20 SMA, 683.65. You would like to see this hold. And further down to the downside, if 683.65 breaks and we start to see rejections here and we come down, you want to see 679.80 hold, okay? And even farther down, if previous day low breaks and we roll down, you want to see 674, 673, hold. So those are your important levels on the SPY today. You will most definitely see action at these levels. And the reason we watch these levels so closely is not really to trade the SPY. I sometimes do, but not. I normally do not. It's to trade our individual stocks based on the broad market. So that's why we watch the broad market so closely, and we watch all four of these broad market instruments: the NASDAQ, the QQQ, the ES, and the SPY, because sometimes their levels are different, and you can get rejections or bounces off of these major levels, and you can time them with your individual stock trades. Okay, you don't want to be trading longs if the SPY is breaking down through previous day low like this and showing rejections here, right? But if the SPY does this and reclaims or holds 20 SMA, then you're good to be trading longs on your individuals, right? And that's why we follow the broad market, because the individual stocks trade alongside the broad market. It is very rare to see a stock do something different than the broad market is doing. It does happen, and when it does happen is because of a catalyst, a news catalyst, or some kind of big story around that stock that will make it do its own thing. Okay? And that happens when there is a huge catalyst. So they don't always trade with the broad market, but normally they do 90% of the time. The other 10% of the time is when they have news catalysts and they do their own thing. And those are great names to trade when you have huge catalysts. I love trading with news catalysts. It's one of my most important things to do, honestly, is find the big news catalyst. So if you get a big news catalyst and the broad market is in your favor with the direction of that stock, man, that's when you see the real nice moves. So finding those news catalysts is very important in the morning, and finding those stocks that are part of bigger themes and have news catalyst is the name of the game. So get good at finding those news catalysts on all your news sources, whether it's from your Interactive Brokers news feed or Seeking Alpha or Benzinga. Those are all great news feeds, but finding the names with hot news catalysts is very, very important, because if you're not trading names that have catalysts, you are going to get chopped up. You're not going to get those sustained nice trending moves. And yeah, so that's why you try to find the new big news catalysts. Okay, so TSM is what we're looking at right now. I had a great trade on Friday on TSM. I also had a nice trade on Wednesday of last week on TSM, which I made a video of, and you can check out that trade review I did on TSM. It was a fantastic trade. So again, sticking with names that are hot and names that are part of a big news cycle is the semis. The semis have been really hot, and we can see that through the SMH. If we want to look at the SMH right now, you can see the SMH is breaking out this morning. So the important level on the SMH we want to be watching is previous day high and these highs, these previous all-time highs. So any pullbacks into previous day highs and all-time highs will be seen as continuation buys, and that's what we'll be watching. We don't necessarily trade the SMH, but we do watch it because of trading our individual semi names. Okay, so keeping an eye on the SMH while trading the semis is very important. If you're trading NVIDIA and the SMH is breaking and rejecting, you don't want to be holding your NVIDIA trades for very long, because the NVIDIA will follow the SMH. It is the biggest component of the SMH, and you really want to be watching the SMH if you're trading individual semis. So important level on SMH today is previous day high at 376 and this previous all-time high at 375. So 376, 375 is a must hold, okay, right out of the gates on the SMH. If we fail under it, I'll be waiting for a deeper pullback into 367 on the SMH. Okay? So let's take a look back now since I've shown you that the SMH is very important to trading your semis. We will look at TSM, which we had some great trades on last week. But our first important thing to note is that the SMH has had a huge gap up this morning. The TSM has had a huge gap up. It is roughly a 2% gap up. Okay? So what do you want to see for buying TSM today? You want to see pullbacks into previous day high as your first stop. Okay? If you see this and the SMH starts to bounce off its previous day high, pretty good indication that we're going to bounce nicely on TSM. Okay? Your next stop for me on TSM is these previous all-time highs. Okay? At 313.95. It is these highs here. And then the next stop is 310 right down here. So watching all three of these spots for a curl, some kind of a curl on TSM. Okay? Whether it happens here or here or here. I will be watching for all three of these paths on TSM. I'm not real fond of just trading straight up gap and goes. Like when we gap up 2% here and we just rip out of the gate, I'm not really into buying those massive straight up after a 2% gap up rips. It's just not a great risk reward unless you're really used to doing that and you're trailing your stop after every 2-minute bar down. I mean, you can do it, yes. But the more solid risk reward buys are on pullback longs when you're trying to catch momentum. I don't mind a break above the gap up high. If you can get some kind of break above the pre-market or pre-market high, and then like this is fine. But you have to be really used to doing that kind of stuff, and you really have to take your profits quickly when you get these gap and goes. Because the likelihood is that we do this, but then we slam down, and you just, it's very, very tough to be buying gap and goes on such a nice gap up like that. Anyways, watching previous day highs for pullback longs on TSM or previous all-time highs at 313.95. Okay. Next is AMD. AMD had a nice day on Friday. We had almost a 4.5% day. So we're watching for pullback longs, okay, to pull back into these highs, okay? Previous highs turn into new lows. And what you want to see is AMD pull back into here and start to curl, okay, for a nice pullback long. You also might get it if we're really strong off of previous day high, but I like to trade off of more secure structure, right? Where you have major previous highs that get broken and retested and they turn into new lows, okay? That's how the market moves. If we're going to move up today on a nice pullback long, you want a retest of this double top here. Come back in and you set up your long. You're buying in here. You're setting your stop underneath for a nice structured trade. All right. You want to have structure to your trades, because if not, you're going to get burned. You can't just chase green candles. If AMD does this, if AMD just rips right out of the gate and we just get this, I'm more than likely not going to get this move because it's just not a great risk reward. But any pullbacks into 224, 225 would be my trade. Okay, next let's look at MU. MU again, Kind of looks like TSM, straight up. It's very hard to trade straight up. All right. So any kind of pullbacks on TSM into previous day high, that's what this orange level is here. It's the high that we created on Friday. Okay. And if we get any pullbacks into previous day highs or previous day lows down into here, I really like this 289.28 level. Ultimately, over time, I really, really like 265 to 260, the 20 SMA. So what'll happen here is that MU will pull back at some point. Okay? It might not be today, but it will be at some point. And what'll happen is the 20 SMA will start to catch up. Whether it's here or here, and then this will start to curl. Okay? So being patient and waiting for a pullback on MU is what I recommend. You don't want to just chase this because it's high up, because it's had this nice move up. It's basically straight up. So you don't want to chase that. You want to wait for a pullback, whether it's into previous day high or previous day low. You could take a nice trade off of that as well. So waiting for a pullback is the name of the game on MU because of how straight up we really are. Yeah, so I'll be watching for pullbacks, and that's what I'll be trading on MU today. Broadcom. Now this is interesting. This is a lot different. This is very different than MU and TSM, which are straight up. Broadcom sold off on an earnings play. Look at this downside on Broadcom, okay? Broadcom was kind of tied to Oracle, and anything tied to Oracle was seen as no good. But overall, in the bigger picture, Broadcom is a great name. So I've been buying, adding to a small swing position every time we dip into the 100 SMA, and it seems like we want to hold there. So what did I say before? Previous highs turn into new lows. That's how the market moves. We created this, okay, nice high here, these double highs, and then we broke over it, and now we're holding it. Okay, we're turning it into a base. If anything gets pulled back into the 100 SMA today, I will be adding again to my swing position at 374.50 on Broadcom. But there's going to come a day when we're going to break out here, I would say. So we have flipped these highs into new lows, and we're probably going to get a breakout at some point here. Okay, so any breakout today over 352.88 on Broadcom, which is AVGO, I will be watching this like a hawk today. Okay, if we get this here and then we go, I will be all over it. Okay, this is creating highs here just like we created these highs here. Okay, and we pulled back and we held, and we pulled back and we held, and we pulled back and we held. Can we do this and hold and stair step up on Broadcom? It'll be very interesting to see highs turn into new lows and we continue up. Let's watch Broadcom today for continuation. So those are the semis I'll be watching. We can also take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is interesting. Okay, it has kind of formed this bottom, and we're starting to curl off it. So you can see that these highs right here were acting as support. We broke above, we supported, but we failed after a while, which got me uninterested. Okay, but then we broke above and we failed. So let's just see. NVIDIA's been trading really tricky. It hasn't been doing these nice sustained moves. Every up move's getting sold. So this is what's got me kind of uninterested right now. But if we can pull back into these previous highs and show some kind of a curl here, I might be interested. but only on a pullback into 190.50 and these highs here. Okay, I'll be watching NVIDIA for that. Since we have done this pop and fail, if we just rip out of the gates on NVIDIA, unless we get over previous day highs and show some kind of a hold, I'm not just going to chase this because NVIDIA is really trading tricky. Ultimately, I would have loved to see NVIDIA pull back into this major area here. And this is not a short-term level. Look at the highs here, okay? What did I tell you? Previous highs turn into new lows. So if we got a pullback on NVIDIA back into this level, I would be all over it. But we didn't quite make it all the way there. We got to the 50 daily SMA, which is fine. So any pullbacks on NVIDIA into 190.50, and I will be keeping an eye on that for long. Okay, next we're going to jump into the space stocks that have been very, very interesting lately. We did 14% on Rocket Lab on Friday. We are creating nice higher lows, okay? And we'll see if we can't higher highs with higher lows. That's an uptrend, okay? So let's just see if we can't get a pullback into 80.30. I love this area here. I've marked it out with a yellow circle, as well as the pullback down into 75 even and 70.40. And I have to apologize. This is not Rocket Lab. It's his sister, ASTS. She had a wig on. She described she was hiding this morning, but it is ASTS. Okay? It's Rocket Lab's evil sister, and it's a great stock. We will watch Rocket Lab next. We will look at it. But any pullbacks into 80.30 would be buying opportunity. Yes, it's definitely Thailand, Pete. We are being invaded by the wigged rocket ships. Okay, so any pullbacks into 80.30 would be nice buying opportunities. Pullbacks into these previous highs. Okay. And then ultimately the deeper pullbacks into 75 flat. And then 70.40. We'll be watching all of these areas for curls along with the broad market. So you want to be watching the broad market. Your broad market is your crystal ball. You watch the broad market and you time your entries along with the broad market. If the broad market is pulling back into a major key level and it's not quite there, but you know it will hit it in the next little while, then you might want to be patient on your buys. You might need to pull back a little deeper, you know? So just watching the broad market along with your trades is very important. Are you going to Thailand, Pete? Is that what I'm reading? No? Maybe? Okay. Anyways, so watching ASTS for a pullback long into these levels here, it's 80, 78, 75, and 70. That's ASTS. Did I say Rocket Lab again? Jesus. Oh, you're not going out this year? Okay. Okay, well, you know, Thailand seems like it's very interesting. I would like to go there. But, yeah. So let's look at Rocket Lab next. And this is another very hot stock, guys. A lot of eyes on this. And if we can get, and we are getting, as we speak, a pullback into 74.50. Okay? This could be we have previous highs, a great buying opportunity. We have these highs and lows in here. Okay? And we are trying to hold it right now. Okay? It's 74.70 to 74.75. Okay? Yeah. So watching Rocket Lab for pullback longs. Okay, we might need a deeper pullback into 72, 70. That's okay too. This is a nice area here. We had lows, right? And then highs. So these lows we're trying to turn into, we're rejecting, but we broke above that now. So let's just see if some of these levels can support as new lows. All right? So that's what we watch. We watch for market structure shifts. All right? So we have gotten the big break. Let's see if these areas can hold to the downside, turning these highs into new lows. Okay? Just like that. The other thing about Rocket Lab is the 20 SMA on the daily is catching up to price down here. Okay? So we could need a pullback deeper into 68.80 or 68.50 as the 20 SMA catches up. If you look back, you have this action here and this low, okay, from the 19th. And this area here could be a nice pullback long that we could get on Rocket Lab. So just watch the daily 20 SMA, okay, to catch up to price. It's usually a good indicator of when we could lift off. I'm not saying we do that, but it's a possibility. Rocket Lab's been really hot, so let's see if it can have a hot 2026 and get a pullback long. Next is another name in the space game. Okay, it's Lunar. And these are my stops for pullback longs. Okay, the first stop is these double top highs right here. Okay, I have set an alert. Pullback, two top pullback long right here. Okay, if we get that pullback, I'll be watching this for continuation. Okay, or we might need a pullback into these highs here. Okay, you can see these highs, this low, this high. We might need to pull back into there. All right, and then the last one would be a pullback long here as the 20 SMA catches up. Okay, and then we get liftoff. That's fine too. Watch the 20 SMA catching up to price. Wherever it catches up will be very interesting. This could come back to here and it could catch up. You never know, right? But just watching Lunar for a pullback long at these specific levels. Next is a very hot stock. It is Light. Light is doing this very nice uptrend. It has been in an uptrend for a very long time. It's just a steady stock. It keeps bouncing off the 20, bouncing off the 20. You know what? The 20 is catching up to price. So could we get another bounce off the 20? Very, very likely, right? This 20 SMA catches up. This pulls back. And we go. All right, would be a hold of these highs here. There's also this level in here, okay? It's these lows, the highs from the bearish candle at 385 to 386 right in here. But watching for any pullback curls on Light. Okay, it's just a really strong name. It's in the fiber optic data center world. Okay. Yeah, so keep your eyes on Light. I have a few shares of this company as well to hold for the long term. Okay, so yeah, watch Light. CoreWeave coming back to life after getting beaten up. You can see how much we got beat up. I can't even zoom out. Okay, there, look how much we got beat up on CoreWeave. A whole lot. So we'll be watching CoreWeave for continuation today to see if we can't reclaim some of that downside. We did create a higher low on Wednesday, the 31st, compared to this low from the 17th. So just watching CoreWeave on any pullbacks into the 20 SMA. That would be my first stop right here, the 20 SMA. We come back, okay, and we curl. Or these highs here, curl. We could also come back just in previous day high, but I don't like trading just off previous day high. Previous day high, you do catch trades off it. It is nice, but it is nice to have extra support on your previous day highs. So me and Pete have been talking a lot about that lately, and it's just a higher win rate trade to be trading off of major levels. The bigger the level, the better. And if your previous day high and lows can match up with those bigger time frame areas, or that's even better, right? You really want to trade off of your major levels and leave the 1 minute and the 2 minute and the 5 minute levels alone. Okay. Ultimately, if you have a news catalyst paired up with your higher time frame levels, and you're seeing increased volume, and you have good reading on the tape, and all four of those things, that's just what you really want, is a news catalyst trading off a higher time frame level with increased relative volume. That's your recipe for success. Okay? So that's what you want to be doing. So watching for pullback longs on CoreWeave, guys. If we can get that, that would be fantastic. Okay, watch your 20 SMA in here. Okay. Next, we will look at NBIS. Nibius has had a crazy day, an 8% day on Friday. So we're going to see if we can't get any continuation out of this name. We would love a pullback into the 20 SMA right here. That would involve breaking previous day high, which is not great, but that's just how it goes, because this level here, we created a bottom. We rejected, but now we've reclaimed it. So if we can come back and turn the 20 SMA into support, that would be great. Okay, so watching for any kind of structured trade on Nibius because of the massive rally we had on Friday. IREN, these names kind of run hand in hand. I just like trading them together. So IREN has had a huge push on Friday, 13%. We just did 5% in the pre-market. So these kind of numbers, they start to scare me. When I start to see more than like 15% in a day and then a 6% gap up, that's crazy, right? That's crazy. But so what you want is you want to pull back on this. You can't just buy this out of the gate because we're up 20%. That's a recipe for absolute disaster. You do not buy names out of the gate when they gap up 20%. That is a way to blow up your account. You need to have more patience than that, or else you cannot do this. So we're going to watch for these lows and this high to turn into support right here. Okay, that's the first stop. And that still is not giving back much of this 18.5%. So we might ultimately have to come back into these highs and previous day high right here. Okay. But just watching to see if we can't structure a trade on IREN because of the absolute strength we have seen. We will not be chasing a 6% gap up out of the gate. We will be waiting for pullbacks. I don't care if I miss the trade. I don't care if it runs another 15% from here and I don't catch it, because there'll be in other things that I can structure my trades off of, and you have to have patience to be able to do that. You can't just chase 20% gap ups or 20% moves. That's not how it works. All right. So waiting for pullbacks into the 100. That's what this line is, the 100 daily SMA. If we get a pullback into there, might be able to structure a trade off of that. As well as a pullback into previous day highs and these previous highs. Okay. Yeah. So watching for a pullback long on IREN. Next, we're going to jump into some stocks in the energy sector. The energy's been really hot lately. Not lately, in the last couple days. So we've actually had quite the sell-off on Bloom Energy. You can see here, and leg 2 was here. So I was hoping to get this back at 75, but it seems like that ship for now has sailed. But watch out for the 50 daily SMA, which we will hit today. I have no doubt. So, again, when a name does such crazy numbers as 14% on Friday and a 4.5% gap up, I won't be chasing this out of the gate. But I will be watching for pullback longs into previous day high or the 20 SMA and 93.50 for a curl. So pullback longs are the name of the game on Bloom Energy. If we can get them, that's great. If we don't get them, that's fine. I'm not going to chase such a huge move like that. So I don't hate this level here either. So it's these previous highs. We had lows. We rejected it here. We rejected it here. Can we turn this into a new low? That could be possible. All right. So the 20 SMA is there as well. I know you guys might have different charts. Everyone marks their charts a little bit different. That's fine. But let's just see if we can't hold the high from the 22nd of December and the 20 SMA. Okay. Yeah. So that's BE. We'll be watching that. And next is Oklo. Oklo has gotten beat up like crazy. This is kind of ugly. We had a nice day on Friday, 8%. Could this be coming back to life off the 200? We'll see. Just watching Oklo. I know a lot of people like this name. A lot of people were watching it, and then there's a whole bunch of people that just call it garbage and forget about it, and that's fine. Everyone has their own opinions. They don't have any revenue. They don't actually have anything that makes sense for people saying just to stay away from it until they actually do have income or earnings. Sorry, and let's just see if we can get a pullback long possibly on Oklo. This isn't going to be my absolute top watch today, but if we could get a pullback long into these previous lows and highs, or if we can hold over the high of this start of this major downside right here at 80, basically 81 flat. Let's just see if we can't get a nice pullback long possibly. What the thing I did do was I bought a few shares at the 200 SMA on Oklo just as a starter position. I like buying shares of companies at the 200 for the long term, like the very, very long term. And that's why it's shares too, because you can just hold them forever. So yeah, I like to trade options intraday and then shares for my long term. So watching for possible pullback longs on Oklo. Again, it's not my top watch, but energy's kind of been hot, so we will keep an eye on it. Now let's get into crypto. Crypto is feeling like it wants to make a recovery. Now, we made a fresh lower low on MSTR, which is not a good sign. And the overall trend on MSTR is down. So I would really be looking to fade this bounce. But we have to follow the Bitcoin chart and we have to follow the Ethereum chart. So just be careful on longing this stuff. You could get burned because who knows if this is the start of the recovery for crypto. And again, MSTR is very different than Bitcoin. Yes, they do hold a lot of Bitcoin, but they bought a whole ton of their stuff at higher prices. So when this starts to sell off, MSTR has been in trouble, and it doesn't have a very good sentiment as far as retail goes. A lot of people have been selling this. So yes, you could look for a pullback long today if the broad crypto is strong, right? But you also this could just be a pop and fade from these previous highs in the 20 SMA. So unless you're taking really structured trades, you want to stay away from this. But if you can get a pullback into previous day highs and crypto and Bitcoin is very strong, this could be a possible entry, holding these previous highs and lows here. All right. I will be watching crypto. If we get a bounce on MSTR into the 20 and into these previous highs, and Bitcoin starts to sell off, this could be a possible short. You just got to really know what you're doing, and if you're gonna trade this crypto today. I'm kind of hesitant just to long this because I want it to show me further strength. I want it to start to get back above. Like, we are so far down. Look how far we are below the 200 SMA. That is not good. So to get all excited about this morning, about longing crypto, you might want to think twice before you do that. But if you're going to do it, it's on a pullback into previous day highs at 160. Okay. Yeah. Just be careful. This might not be the beginning of the huge crypto rally. Okay. Next, let's look at coin. Coin has had a nice big gap up this morning. It's doing a little better, not a little better, a lot better than MSTR. We aren't too extended from the 200, but yes, we did make a fresh low compared to this low on Friday. But I don't hate a pullback long on coin today into this previous day high and these lows here. So if you can get this here, I don't hate it. I won't be just chasing a straight up gap on this. I won't be chasing that. I will be waiting for the pullback on coin. And I'm only going to trade coin to the upside if Bitcoin and Ethereum are showing strength. Okay, so right now, Bitcoin is up 1.4%. I can look at NVIDIA again, Matthias, if you want me to. Yeah, I can do that for you. No problem. I haven't looked at it yet, but I will. Yeah, for sure, bud. How you doing anyways? You doing good? Thanks for showing up, man. Awesome. You just made my day. Okay, so we're watching crypto for a pullback long. Okay, because you really want to be careful with crypto today. This might not be the beginning of the big comeback for crypto. So you want to get good entries. At previous day high would be my good entry. But ultimately, if I'm going to start to build a bigger position in crypto, I want to see it back over the 200. Okay, the 200 daily SMA right here. Yeah. So just watching coin for a pullback long. Next is BMNR. BMNR is showing us some strength again this morning. So if we can get a pullback long on BMNR, that would be great. Okay. We've had a big gap up, and we did 14% on Friday. So this is a huge gap up. I mean, like, it's just a huge move, right? 18%. So to think that we're just going to keep going off of an 18% move is, yeah, it's not the reasonable thing to think, right? Because the market doesn't just go straight up. So we want a pullback on BMNR. But what is interesting this morning is that we have reclaimed the 200 and the 20 SMA. That is a great sign for BMNR. Okay, you see this blue and the yellow and blue and light blue. That's the 20 daily SMA and the 200 daily SMA. That is a great indicator of the strength of a stock. You want to see us over that, and you want to see us hold that level for further upside. If we start to fail back under some of these levels, you really want to watch out for BMNR, because this could just be a small pump that is going to get sold. But the first thing you want to see is a hold over the 200 and daily 20. And we are doing that right now. So if you can get a pullback into previous day high, this is the high from Friday at 31.26, or a deeper pullback into these lows here, okay, and a turn, or a turn at previous day high, okay? So just monitor BMNR first off for a hold over the 200 daily SMA. That's what I would be doing. Next, let's take a look at Google. Google and the Mag 7, I just want to say, have had a really weird Friday. The market was strong on Friday, some of the high beta names, and yes, the NQ sold off, but the Mag 7 really took a hit on Friday, and we popped and sold. So what you want to see on Google is the first stop. You want to see these highs here and these highs hold right here at 315. Okay, that's your first stop for a pullback long. Next would be the 20 SMA and previous day low. If you can come down into these highs here and these lows right here for a bounce. Okay, but Google is not showing strength like some of the higher beta names like the semis. What's showing strength is crypto, semis, and energy. Okay, and energy could be because of the oil and all that stuff, but we're not going to get into that. But that's what you want to watch today if you're taking longs: semis, crypto, energy. Okay, so watching Google just to see if we can't hold this 314, 315 level. Hood, Robinhood has had a gap up along with the market today, but we had a huge sell-off on Hood over the last week, and if you can get a pullback into previous day highs, that might be interesting. But what I've been doing more specifically on Hood is just buying little pieces for my long-term account. Anytime we dip below 213 down into like 110, I bought a little piece. But where I'm going to be really interested is at the 200 and the 100 psych level of Robinhood. If we can come down to the 200 daily SMA into the 100 on Robinhood, I would absolutely empty the boat, because Robinhood has a very bright future. Okay, so just watching for pullback longs on Robinhood into some of these levels. To the upside, you want to reclaim 118.60 and these highs here. Okay, but pullback longs are the name of the game on Hood. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to do NVIDIA for Matthias. Robinhood Matthias is basically a stock platform. You can buy stocks. It's a really overall investing platform. It's a US thing only. You cannot use it. I think they do offer some services to Europe, like buying fractional shares and stuff. But I don't think, like, I can't even use it in where I'm at. And I don't believe you can use it. But for the US guys, Robinhood is like one of their biggest platforms. It is their biggest platform, I think, that the retail guys use to trade with. And that's what Robinhood is. They are a big player in the investment platform world. And they are getting a lot into prediction markets. They've done a lot of stuff in crypto. Yeah, they're just a really big investment platform for US guys. So next, let's look at APLD, because APLD has had a very nice run upwards, and it is really making nice higher lows, as you can see. Okay, so any pullbacks will be seen as buying opportunities on APLD. The first level that I'm watching on APLD is these highs here, and I want to see this here hold. But I will also be watching the previous day highs right here. Okay, and then So first off, watching for this. Next is watching for this area here. These lows, this here, okay? Come back down here and hold. The 20 daily SMA is here as well for extra confluence hold at this area, okay? So watching for pullback longs into these levels on APLD. And again, what you want to do when you're getting your pullbacks on your individual stocks, you want to be focusing on the broad market. So I know you weren't here for this yet, Matthias, but the broad market is like the NASDAQ futures, the QQQ cash market, the ES, which is the SPY 500. So you want to be watching those four indexes, and you can get a hold of me. I can go over this stuff with you if you want another time, because these individual stocks trade side by side with the broad market. So I'm going to go over NVIDIA for you, Matthias. So I'm going to zoom out just to show you the broad market on NVIDIA. So this is what NVIDIA looks like right now. It is quite messy. It is in the middle of this huge consolidation. But what we've been focusing on is these previous highs right here. So how the market moves is we turn previous highs, which is this, okay? You see how we can't get over this level? These previous highs turn into new lows, all right? It's just a huge level right here. You can see we rejected here, we rejected here, okay? So what we were ultimately hoping for over the last couple of weeks was that NVIDIA would come back down into 184.50, but it has not done that, okay? So what we're watching for, first off, is this level here and these previous highs to act as support right here and to rally further, okay? That would be the most immediate level I'm watching. That's 190.50. The other possible thing to happen on NVIDIA is that we show real nice strength today and we break over previous day highs and these highs here, okay, and we hold. The other thing that we were talking about already is that over the next while, NVIDIA sells off, gets under previous day lows, and then ultimately breaks the 50 and comes down into here for a curl, okay? 184.50 is your most important level to the downside by a long shot, okay? And you want to see that hold if NVIDIA comes down into here, right? This you want to see hold. And you have the 20 and the 100 daily SMA catching up to price. That's a time correction. When the daily SMAs catch up to price like that, it's another great support factor, okay? So if you can get lucky enough to get this pullback into 184.50 and the 100 and the 20 daily SMA catch up, that's a great little spot to pick up a trade on NVIDIA. So I know that you're more of a long-term kind of guy trading, and we were picking up pieces of NVIDIA down at these lows down here. I bought a few shares down here, right? And I just see any dips on NVIDIA are just buying opportunities, right? Especially if you're holding for like many, many years. So if you get a dip into 184.50, buy a share. If you get a dip down into 178, buy a share. If you get a dip down into 169, 170, buy a share, right? So that's how I would play the long term on NVIDIA. We are seeing a lot of strength. Yeah, you're buying it in your long term, Matthias. Yeah, that's great. Just hang on to it, you know. I'm going to hang on to it for many, many years. So, yeah, any dips, just buy a share, you know. Shares are 100 and anywhere from like 160 to 195, you know. So, but there's been a lot of upgrades lately on NVIDIA, and semis have been really hot. So to think that we're going to get any more pullbacks into like the 170s is probably not going to happen anytime in like the next month or so. But You never know what can happen with all the geopolitical stuff that goes on. You never know. That's why I keep an eye on this stuff all the time. I just want to go over a couple more. Um, I'll just show you the broad mark, the Nasdaq futures, Matthias. So this is what we watch for our bigger picture idea. This here is the Nasdaq futures. It is all of the tech stocks in one spot. Okay, in one um, one instrument. Okay, this is all the tech stocks, all the big tech stocks, I should say, not every single tech stock, but all the big tech stocks. Okay, so again, it's the same concept. We've been watching these previous highs. Okay, to turn into, you see how we supported here, we rejected here, rejected, rejected and supported, and then supported. So this is the major area that we're watching for today. We want to see 25,633 to 25,600 get reclaimed for longs today. So we want to see this reclaim and hold for our long position. If we see this start to happen and we reclaim this, we'll be taking longs in our individual stocks. Nice, Matthias. Really? That's awesome, bro. AMD was such a nice buy down when we were talking about it, like a while back. Like you couldn't go wrong with that. I forget, like AMD was at like crazy low prices. I remember I was telling everybody, like, you want to be buying AMD down here. I was trying to tell everybody, but you know, not everybody has the cash to invest, and that's fine too. But we want to see 25,600 to 25,633 get reclaimed today. Okay, that's what we're watching when I say watch the broad market. Yeah, 172. That's awesome. Yeah, we're at 223, but AMD, we hit a high of like 270 or something. Yeah, 272. So, and AMD is hot today. You know, if we come back into 225, that's a great spot to pick up some longs on AMD. Now, I'm just talking about short-term trades, like intraday trades on that. But because you'd probably want a bit of a deeper pullback into, say, like the 100 back here for add to your long term. But we're going to be watching these lows, this high, to turn into new lows for AMD. So that's what we're watching on AMD today. Okay, let's continue. The crypto is really hot today. So the first name that I'm watching, these are individual crypto names. This is called Cypher. It's a crypto mining play that's just been looking really nice. We are continuously making new higher lows, okay? And we are watching for this area, these previous highs here, okay, to turn into new lows, okay, for a pullback long. That's what we'll be watching for Cypher. Okay. Also, the 20 SMA, daily 20 SMA is in here as well. So watch the daily 20 SMA previous day high and these lows at 16 even. There's another crypto name, HUT. It is breaking out. It has had a gap up this morning. Yeah, and I like how we held these previous highs right here. And we are continuing up. We are trying to hold previous day high. It's just another name to watch for individual stocks in crypto. And we have these previous highs here. Okay. And we want to turn that into new lows. Okay. This isn't my top watch, but it's something I will be watching. Let's take a look at Quantum. Quantum is having a bounce back. We had this wild 18% move on the 22nd of December, which got sold off dramatically on the 26th. But we're slowly and quietly reclaiming some of these levels. We reclaimed the 20 and the 50 daily SMA. So if we can get a nice pullback long on the quantums, that would be fantastic. Let's just see if we can't get a pullback into the 50 and 20 daily SMAs at 27, 27 flat, basically. It's this whole area, 2750 to 2710. Okay, this whole area here. Yeah, so just watching, see if quantum can't get a lift. IONQ. Okay. Another quantum. We'll see if we can get a pullback into 4650. You can see we held there on Friday. So watching for this, it is these lows, these highs here, and we held it on Friday. So if we can come back into it and make a curl, this is a nice reclaim level. If we can reclaim this major level, okay, it is these previous highs right here. Okay, and you can see that we have held it, reject. So it's just a huge area in here, 48.94. Over time, if we reclaim this, that would show ultimate strength on IONQ. If we came down here, reclaim this, and the 20, that would be a sign of real strength. Any pullbacks into the 200, and I'm just going to buy shares, okay? Because I don't know, I kind of like the quantum names. They trade really nice, they move a lot, and it has had some great news around it lately, with quantum being more applicable to everyday topics and more use cases. Instead of it being this useless thing, it's turned into something that might have more uses. And I think that quantum will have more uses moving forward. So, yeah, watching IONQ for pullback longs. RGTI is the last quantum name that I'll look at. It, again, all the quantum names had this massive rally and then sell-off. But I think this just grabbed liquidity down here, and now we're reclaiming. So any break below major structure and then reclaims is a sign of ultimate strength, right? When we break down but then reclaim those major levels, which is what we're doing, that's a sign of strength. So if we can hold these previous highs here, come back and hold these levels, that would be a possible long for quantum. We will see. We will see. Again, trading off the broad market. You have to trade off the broad market. You can't just take these stocks in a vacuum on their own. You have to focus on the broad market. I have the broad market up on my screen in the corner, along with all my individual stocks. We also watch the market internals, which is very important. I will get into market internals another day, but the market internals is just an indicator that shows you the inner workings of the broad market. Okay? So that's another thing that we focus on. I'm going to make a video specifically on market internals because of how important they are. Okay? The next stock I'm going to look at is Amazon. Amazon had this wicked sell-off on Friday, but I love Amazon for the long term, and look what we're trying to build out here. We had this crazy sell-off on Amazon, and it just got bought up off the 200 and bought up again. So could this possibly be another higher low on Amazon? I'm going to be adding to my swing position on Amazon if we get any pullbacks on this today. I don't have a huge swing that's going to break my account. And that's how you do it, guys. You do small positions relative to your account size, right? So if you lose, it doesn't really matter, because you'd have to lose 1,000 times to blow up my account or your account, whatever. You have to structure it that way, because there's no such thing as winning every single day. You take losses, and you try to make your winners bigger than your losses, and that's trading. There's no such thing as just winning all the time and making hundreds of thousands of dollars off of one trade. You make nice gains, but you pile them up, right? And that's how you win in the long term. Because if you're making $100,000 in one trade, guess what? You're probably going to lose much more than that in one trade, and that's how you blow up your account. Okay, so we'll be adding to this swing. Yeah, Pete, I love Amazon for the long term. I think they're positioned very well. They have all kinds of products. So any pullbacks on Amazon today, I think we reclaim this downside, and I'm not going to get scared out of this position unless we break under the 200. And even then, I'll be still not that worried. So, because I think Amazon has a great 2026. So any pullbacks into these previous lows and highs right here to hold would be great. Okay. And any pullbacks into previous day low like this would be okay too. Okay, so that's Amazon. I don't mind if we get over the 20 and the 100, they're piled up on top of each other. I don't mind if we get above this here as well for a small add, okay, and reclaim the 20 and the 100. That's possible too. That would be a sign of strength. So next, I just want to take a look at Tesla. Tesla's been weak. They also had some news today about their declining sales in China, which isn't great. But overall, Tesla's doing fine, right? But in the shorter term, we've had this sell-off. We held these previous highs. Okay. Right here. We held these here. Okay. And if we get any pullbacks, we could possibly, if the broad market's really strong, watch for strength out of Tesla. But with that negative news out of China, I'd really want to see it reclaim 450. 450 was a big level back here. We had all these rejections. If we can reclaim 450 on Tesla, I would much prefer that than buying the bottom. So if we reclaim 450, that might be okay into previous day highs. But yeah, Tesla's just going through a little bit of a short-term downtrend right now. So watch out, right? And Tesla contracts really move like crazy. Any deep pullback on Tesla would be great back into 415. I would love this. Into the 100. If we can get that, that would be spectacular for Tesla buy down here. Okay? At 415. That would be amazing. Are we going to get that? Not sure. It would take some bad news for that to happen, I think. But, yeah. So the next one, let's take a look at Palantir. Palantir had a wicked sell-off Friday. They are catching a bit of news this morning with the Venezuela. Yeah, you're not going long on Tesla for a while. Pete, Tesla's been losing. Yeah, they've been losing a lot of sales for a while. So Tesla's weird, Matthias. So the thing about Tesla is their car industry's been really suffering. They've been really not doing well in specific countries like China, India. But what's really catching on with them, Matthias, is that they're getting into the robotics with their autonomous robot, which is really popular, catches a lot of positive news. Their FSD, which is full self-driving, okay, with their robotaxi. And they did just start robotaxi production, or RoboCab, or whatever it's called. But so they also have the battery tech for houses and different industries. So they're kind of getting into these three new moats, other than their cars. So people really believe in Elon. They really believe in their autonomous stuff, and they really believe in the Optimus robot for different industries and stuff. So that's why they have had success lately. If they didn't have those other industries, I think they would be very, very much suffering. But there is some news also of Tesla and Trump getting buddy buddy again. I know that Trump had dinner with Elon the other day, so that could be helping. Um, yeah, so there's just a lot of interesting stuff that Tesla's getting into other than their car business. So we're keeping an eye on that. Palantir had that crazy sell-off. If we can reclaim 177.36 and the 100, I like it. I like it over this here. Not bad. Or ultimately over previous day high in the 50 daily SMA. But I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to stay away from Palantir, or even maybe catch a short. But where the broad market is kind of looking a bit strong recovery today, you might not want to be shorting Palantir after this crazy down move, because the down move already happened, and yeah, so their multiples make Palantir look modest. Yeah, I know, yeah, I agree, Pete. Yeah, all those their other techs are, yeah, theoretically profitable. Yeah, I don't think that their Optimus is really profitable yet, or their FSD, their full self-driving uh, cars is not fully implemented along with their robo taxi. So that's all going to have to work out for the Tesla stock to do well. Um, yeah, so if you're trading crypto today, guys, keep an eye on Bitcoin and Ethereum. The next thing I want to do is bring in the Interactive Brokers news feed and go over the Interactive Brokers news feed with you guys. I like to do this because they have a lot more stories than the CNBC stuff, and I like to do it later on, like now. So let's just look. Oh, what do you know? Tesla Optimus robot project faces challenges amid Trump praise. Okay, that's interesting. Trump praised Musk during comments reportedly aboard Air Force One, calling him great and well-meaning while describing this. Okay. Yeah, he called him an 80% super genius, a 20% mistake maker. So that's really kind. Um, so Optimus is in the news. Rigetti, RGTI Computing CEO, to participate in Needham Growth Conference. Rigetti Computing participate. Okay. Oh, here's one for you, Pete. Uber is tipped by BOFA to partner with an Asian automaker in autonomous vehicles in 2026. Pete needs Uber to rally. Hmm. Yes, okay. Um, let's just keep a look. CoreWeave in focus as it amends credit agreement. That's a good thing for CoreWeave. That could be really good for CoreWeave today. So there's a bit of a catalyst for them. Again, Matthias, what we try to do, or what everybody tries to do, is find the big news stories on the stronger stocks, find your technical levels, look for increased volume, increased relative volume, and trade the names that have big catalysts with nice technical setups. That's what you want to be focusing on. Because if you're not trading names with catalysts, you're just going to get chopped up, and you're not going to get those nice big sustained moves. That's the name of the game. So going through all your news, going through your X feeds, going through Seeking Alpha, which is one of the top news sources, and then finding those big stories and trading those names. That's what you want to do. So let's just keep a look here. AMD's gamer boom signals trouble for Intel's long-held lead. Okay. China's Tesla's China shipments slide for a second straight year. Not good. Not good for Tesla. But like we said, their business is starting to shift away from their car sales. Taiwan Semis, which is TSM, smashes 52-week high on AI demand boom. That's huge for TSM, for them to mention that. That puts a lot of eyes on TSM today. Saks in talks for $1 billion loan to stay in business if it files for bankruptcy. Okay, that's not good. Crude oil pairs losses as traders assess U.S. move that ousted Nicolas Maduro. That's the big story, guys. The oil stocks. We forgot to go over the oil stocks. Anyways, they're up. The big ones I was looking at were XOM and Chevron. But they were up. One was up 7%, one was up 5%. Oil is actually down. So just know the difference there. It's the oil companies that are going to benefit from this, not the price of oil. Okay. Alibaba arms restaurant with AI to take on Meituan. Okay. China's AI startup Minimax expected to price Hong Kong IPO. Okay, no. So I'm not seeing any like huge standout news here. But Trump heaps praise on well-meaning Elon. Now, just the fact that the news here is that Trump and Elon had dinner. That's the big thing. All right. It's not so much what they talked about or this and that. It's just the image that it portrays, that Trump is getting back in bed with Elon. That's good for Tesla stock. That's what you want to take note from this. TSM stock surges most since April as Goldman lifts target by 35%. So TSM is getting a lot of news. Elon Musk says SpaceX will target producing 10,000 Starship rockets annually. So that brings again into the news the SpaceX IPO, which is going to be absolutely huge. Watch for the SpaceX IPO, guys, coming up. There's a huge list of big companies going to be IPOing in 2026. I will make a list and let you guys know what those names are tomorrow on the show. There's some huge IPOs coming up, which is going to be absolutely crazy. Okay, guys, so that's going to be it for today. There's no huge stories that are really jumping out. We could go over this a lot, but I just want to point out you need to go through your news every morning. I spend like 4 hours doing market prep in the morning, just to give you a little reference benchmark there. But yeah, that'll about do it for today, guys. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for showing up, Matthias and Pete. You guys are awesome. And everybody, have a great day. Watch the semis, watch crypto, and watch energy. Yeah, we'll see you in the Discord. And yeah, have a good day, guys. Thanks a lot.